You know that feeling, right? You walk into a bustling sports bar, maybe even a friend's ambitious home setup, and you see this wall of screens.
Oh, yeah.
Impressive, but potentially chaotic.
Exactly. Then the inevitable happens. Someone needs to change a channel.
Cue the frantic remote search.
Right. Or yelling for staff who are already, completely swamped. The wrong TV gets muted, you miss the big play, and that whole fun vibe just kind of deflates.
It's a surprisingly common frustration. Managing multiple screens, different sources, all those remotes, it's a real headache.
Okay, let's unpack this then. We're doing a deep dive today into a system specifically designed to, well, cut through that frustration. The WolfPad Rogers Canadian Tablet TV Control System.
Sounds specific. Rogers Canadian.
It is. And our mission really is to understand how this system tries to be a shortcut to genuinely seamless multi-screen control. We want to pull out key insights for anyone curious about these smart AV solutions, whether it's for a busy bar or maybe even a high-end home setup.
So looking beyond just the surface simplicity.
Exactly. We'll explore its design thinking, what makes it maybe surprisingly unique, and the clever details behind how simple it seems.
Got it.
So let's maybe zoom in first on why this multi-screen thing is such a pain point. Think about that sports bar again. We're not just talking 2 or 3 TVs.
No, definitely not.
The sources we looked at describe setups with, like, up to 16 separate Canadian TV receivers. 16. Feeding as many as 36 TVs.
Wow, okay. That's a lot of signals.
Right. In any combination. Can you even picture the just logistical mess of trying to handle that with a bucket full of standard remotes?
It's hard to even visualize. It's not just inconvenient, it's actively disruptive for the staff and, frankly, annoying for the customer.
Yeah, total productivity drain.
And what's fascinating here is you have this incredibly powerful AV hardware, right? These matrix switchers that can send anything anywhere, super capable. But then there's this huge gap between that tech and the actual the humans who have to use it day to day.
The non-tech people.
Exactly. Your standard remote is fine for one TV at home, but scale that up, it becomes a barrier. It's not just learning a new gadget, it's the mental load,
Yeah.
For most bar staff, restaurant staff, that stack of remotes or some complicated control panel, it's like trying to fly a spaceship with zero training.
Yeah, good analogy.
So this system, the WolfPad, it seems like a direct response to that, making powerful hardware genuinely usable by, well, everyone.
And that's precisely the promise, right? Accessibility. The WolfPad system for Canadian TV control, their core claim is pretty bold.
Yeah.
No programming knowledge is required to set up your system.
That always makes you raise an eyebrow a little in the AV world.
Right. Because anyone who's wrestled with AV installs knows that no programming often just means someone else did the complex part beforehand.
Usually, yeah. There's often hidden complexity somewhere.
So how does WolfPad actually aim to deliver on that promise? Is it legit no programming for the end user?
That's a really good question. I think the insight here is their deliberate, almost narrow focus. See, most big control systems try to do everything. Lights, sound, HVAC, security, and AV. They offer massive customization.
Which sounds great.
Which sounds great on paper, yeah. But it often leads to just overwhelming complexity for the person who just needs to change Channel 5 to TV 12.
Right.
WolfPad seems to have said, look, we do one thing. We control Canadian TV signals going through a specific type of matrix switcher, and we do that one thing really, really well.
So specialization is key.
Totally. That specialized simplicity is its core strength. It's about getting rid of that remote hunt, letting staff change things from anywhere, using a tablet they probably already know how to use.
Makes sense.
That shift, giving them the power without the technical headache, that feels genuinely transformative for these kinds of places.
Well, it's not just making it simple. It's like strategic simplicity targeting a massive operational pain point.
Exactly.
Who are they really picturing using this? Who's the target user?
Well, the source material is super clear on this. It's built for the frontline staff, the owners, people who likely don't have a tech background.
Like who specifically?
They list them out. Sports bar owners, waitresses, hostesses, bartenders, DJs, similar employees in other venues too.
Right.
That no technical knowledge part is absolutely crucial. Think about it. Minimal training time, fewer errors, and crucially, fewer panicked calls to the manager or, worse, an expensive AV tech just to do something basic.
It empowers the staff directly.
It really does.
And they even share this great little anecdote to really drive that home. They say, The sports bar owner will never be called at home and asked how you control the matrix when you buy one of our WolfPack sports bar HDMI matrix switchers and this WolfPad system.
That's quite a promise, but it speaks volumes. It's about peace of mind.
Totally. For the owner, sure. But also think about the staff. Their job literally just got less frustrating. That's got to help morale.
Oh, massively. It's a game changer in that respect. And then you think broader, where else does this fit?
Right. Beyond sports bars.
Restaurants, bowling alleys, casinos, country clubs, gyms, even places like sports arenas or high-end homes, corporate training rooms maybe.
Anywhere with lots of screens and potentially non-tech users needing control.
Exactly. The common thread is needing efficient, reliable multi-screen control, often by people whose main job isn't being an AV wizard.
Yeah.
Making it foolproof lets them focus on, serving customers, running the event, whatever their actual job is, instead of wrestling with the tech.
Okay, let's dig into the actual user experience then, because that seems to be where the design really comes through.
Yeah.
They've clearly gone for extreme simplicity. Starting with this any in to any out idea. What does that mean in practice?
Any in to any out is sort of the fundamental promise of a good matrix switcher.
Okay.
It just means you can take the signal from any of your, say, 16 Canadian TV receivers and send it to any of your, say, 36 TVs.
Yeah.
Or any combination.
So one game on all 36 screens.
Easy. Different games on different groups of screens.
That's so easy.
Also easy. But the real genius here is how they've translated that raw capability into a genuinely intuitive tablet app.
How does that work on the screen?
So you open the app. You see your sources maybe labeled receiver 1, receiver 2, etc. You tap the one you want.
Okay, say receiver 5.
Right. Receiver 5 gets highlighted, maybe turns gray, and its name pops up at the top so you know what you've selected. Instantly, the buttons representing your TVs also change. Maybe the ones currently showing receiver 5 turn gray too.
So you see the current state immediately.
Exactly. Visual feedback. Then you just tap the button for the TV or TVs you want to send receiver 5 to. Boom. Switched.
Simple enough.
You bet.
But you mentioned something subtle. The undo function.
Yes. Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, I think. This undo feature is just its elegant design.
How so?
Because so many complex systems focus only on doing things, making the switch happen. This system also focuses on forgiveness. It anticipates you might mess up.
Like tapping the wrong TV button in a hurry.
Precisely. You tap TV 10 by mistake. Instead of a panic, you just tap the TV 10 button again, the one that's now gray, showing it's connected to receiver 5, and it instantly flips back to whatever source it was showing before you tapped it.
Oh, wow. Okay, that is clever.
Isn't it? It's not just about function. It's about making the system genuinely foolproof. It massively reduces user anxiety, especially in a busy, noisy bar environment.
Yeah, you're not afraid you'll break something or mess up the whole wall.
Exactly. That visual feedback, that simple error correction, it builds user confidence, which for non-technical staff is absolutely paramount. It shifts the complexity behind the scenes so the user experience stays clean and stress-free.
And importantly, you're not locked into one specific tablet, right?
Correct. Use your iPad, a Fire tablet, Samsung, whatever Android tablet you have or prefer.
Plus, scalability seems built in. Need to add another TV later.
Apparently, you just call them. They handle updating the configuration. Takes the guesswork out of expanding your setup down the road.
Okay, so the app sounds great, but let's talk hardware. What's actually in the box? What makes it tick?
Right, it's not just software. There are physical components.
Yeah.
You get their proprietary control code, which integrates with their specific WolfPack HDMI matrix switches.
Ah, so it's designed for their matrices primarily?
Seems so. You also get an RS-232 cable that's a pretty standard, reliable serial connection for control systems.
Okay.
Up to 16 IR cables, which basically mimic the signals from the original Rogers remotes to control the actual channel changing on the receivers.
Gotcha, like little remote control blasters.
Kind of, yeah. And a cloud-based customizer tool for setup. And, this is the interesting part, a modified pre-owned Crestron rack mount controller with its power adapter.
The pre-owned Crestron. Crestron is a huge name in high-end AV control, right? Usually very expensive.
Exactly. And this raises an important question about how companies make choices balancing performance, cost, maybe even sustainability. Using a modified pre-owned Crestron controller is actually quite clever.
Why is that?
Well, Crestron gear is known for being incredibly robust. Enterprise grade. Built like a tank, as they say. The source notes they're American built and made to last, even if they might have minor cosmetic defects.
So, proven reliability?
Proven reliability. But by using pre-owned modified units, they can dramatically lower the overall system cost. They mention competing systems hitting $10,000. This is way less.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Good performance, lower cost.
It's a pragmatic engineering choice. Use something known to be reliable and durable, give it a new life for a specific purpose, and pass the savings on. It's cost-effective and, you could argue, a bit more sustainable than demanding brand new hardware for every single component.
That is a fascinating hardware strategy. And speaking of cost, let's talk about the business model. It seems refreshingly straightforward.
How so?
Well, the price listed today is $1,250. But the really crucial part they emphasize is no monthly or yearly fees and no license or subscription fees.
Ah, a one-time purchase.
Exactly. In a world drowning in subscriptions, that feels different.
It really does. That's quite appealing, especially for a business.
And they seem confident in it, too. They offer free shipping and free 60-day returns with a free return label and no restocking fee. They're really trying to remove any friction, it seems.
That no-fees approach definitely stands out against the subscription tide. For a business like a sports bar, that means a predictable one-time investment. You know your total cost of ownership up front.
No creeping operational expenses.
Right. It removes that uncertainty. It also suggests they're confident the product provides enough value on its own without needing to lock you into ongoing payments. That transparency in pricing alone could be a major selling point for budget-conscious businesses.
Definitely. Okay, let's get into some of the maybe finer points, the practical stuff. Often the FAQs reveal the real-world experience.
Good idea. The devil's often in the details.
One interesting point is that it's technically a single-user system. The FAQ says if one person is using an iPad, they can interfere with another user trying to use an iPad at the same time.
Ah, okay. So two bartenders can't change different TVs simultaneously from separate tablets.
Seems like it. In a busy bar, how do they deal with that potential conflict?
Well, the FAQ does offer a mitigation. It says you can see on the remote iPad what the first user is doing, so you know not to use the iPad until they are done.
Ah, okay, so there's visual feedback between tablets.
It implies that, that visual feedback is key. Even if it's single-threaded control, only one command processed at a time. The interface lets everyone see what's happening. It promotes coordination, helps avoid stepping on each other's toes.
So it maintains that user-friendliness despite the limitation.
Seems like the goal. Shared awareness of the system state.
Okay, another common install question?
Yeah.
Wi-Fi. Do you need some special dedicated network?
Good question. Lots of commercial gear requires that.
But here the answer is apparently no, the Guest W Wi-Fi system is fine, or any Wi-Fi you already have available.
Oh, that's significant.
Why is significant?
Because setting up dedicated networks adds cost, complexity, IT hassle, things many businesses really want to avoid. Being able to just hop onto the existing Wi-Fi, even the guest network, removes a huge potential barrier. It makes deployment much simpler and more accessible for a wider range of places. Easier integration is always a plus.
Makes sense. Now, about the actual setup, especially for the iPads, they say for smaller one-page systems, the program lives on that Crestron controller, the CP2E they call it. That's the brain.
Right, the processor running the logic.
Yeah, and it just transfers when you install the app. Simple enough. But for large multi-page systems, they say they will remotely load the iPad via our customizer.
Okay, so more complex setups need their direct involvement.
Yeah, and it also sounds like you, the customer, need to provide them with specific info beforehand, like input label numbers and IR component model numbers.
That makes sense. They need to know what devices they're controlling and how you want them labeled in the app.
And here's a final detail that might surprise people. For standard setups, it seems you might actually need to send your iPads to them for configuration.
Send them in.
Physically. Yeah, unless, and this is the alternative, you buy a separate controller from their website, which then allows them to do it all remotely.
Okay. So what does that tell us about the balance here between DIY ease and needing specialized support?
That's what I was wondering.
Well, it highlights an interesting tension, doesn't it? The system promises no programming knowledge for using it day to day, and that seems true.
Right.
But the initial setup, especially getting the configuration just right, still requires some level of expertise, either theirs remotely or with the iPads in hand, or potentially yours if you buy the extra gear.
So user-friendly operation, but maybe not entirely user-friendly setup without help.
Perhaps. It reflects the reality that integrating different bits of hardware reliably, even with a simple goal, has underlying complexity. By handling or guiding the setup, they ensure it's done right from the start.
Which is crucial for delivering that effortless daily use they promise.
Exactly. It's about getting professional-grade results, correctly configured, paired with that super simple front-end control, even if it means a bit of initial, maybe non-DIY, heavy lifting to get there.
Okay, so we've taken a really deep dive into this WolfPad Rogers Canadian tablet TV control system.
We certainly have.
And it seems pretty clear, doesn't it? It's a genuinely clever, pretty cost-effective solution for a very specific but very common problem in commercial AV.
Yeah, that blend of user-friendliness on the front end with robust, even repurposed hardware on the back end is quite smart.
It really seems focused on transforming that frantic remote shuffle into just a calm, confident tap on a tablet.
And maybe that's the real takeaway thought for you, the listener. Think about how often these seemingly simple, maybe single-purpose devices, like the WolfPad, actually conceal layers of complex engineering and really strategic decisions. From repurposing that legacy Crestron hardware, which is fascinating, to the subtle genius of that undo function in the UI design. It anticipates human behavior, human error. Every choice seems aimed at achieving that effortless experience for the user.
That idea of invisible complexity for visible simplicity.
Exactly. It's everywhere when you start looking. Your smartphone, your car's dashboard, so many things we interact with feel simple. But underneath, layers upon layers of design, engineering, and problem solving went into making it feel that way.
Yeah.
So the question to mull over is, where else in your life do you see that principle at play? Where does hidden complexity make your interaction simple? It often points towards some truly elegant and innovative